Hey everybody, welcome to Shootin the Wheeze, where we sit down and shoot the shit on things that are happening in real life and the world of professional wrestling. And I know you are normally used to me sitting here by myself, rambling and talking about stuff in my life, but today I decided I was going to bring someone else on that I think you should know if you don't know her already. Her name is Minnie. She is on YouTube, she's on Instagram, you can find her on Twitch. She is a reaction content creator, a pro wrestling content creator, not even just a particular promotion. And what, Minnie, thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Wheezy. Thank you for the introduction.
And I wanted to tell you also happy birthday. She is sitting down with us on her birthday weekend. Her boyfriend is with her, flew in to have a birthday weekend, and she is still sitting down with me. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Of course. Still
So
gotta
for
grind,
those
you
of
know?
you that don't really know, I want to give a little bit of an introduction of who you are. So, how long have you been making content? Listened to a couple interviews of you already where you had gone viral for a particular clip. That is not how I found you, but give us a little synopsis of how you got into this.
Yes. So I've just had a passion for wrestling for so long. That's the only thing that consistently I've kept up with, which actually I did have a cosmetology license. I got it when I
Oh,
was
really?
19. Yeah,
Oh, no
yeah.
kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I quickly realized, you know what, this is probably not something I want to do. Obviously, I did engineering, and I was like, I'm still, this is great, but I'm not passionate. And wrestling has been consistent, so I wanted to do content creation and wrestling because I'm like, okay, there's two things that I'm very passionate about: entertaining people, and then wrestling. So one clip of me streaming, I said something about power bombing me, and it was ridiculous, but it's my sense of humor. That went incredibly viral. Where I was like, I woke up in the morning and I was like, why do I have so many notifications? I'm not used to this. I was like,
The blow up.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And it was massive. It was massive. I like on TikTok, I can't even remember. Like 10,000 in like 2 days, like 10,000 new followers, and the comments and the stitches, and it was going on for a week. Russell
Oh my
Talk was
God.
just stitching that video. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was me saying, Parabomb me. So everybody's shooting their shot. It was a really dumb video,
Now,
but
had you
I kept
already
it.
been trying to get into content creation when that happened, or was that kind of the catapult to get you to start doing it?
I was streaming on Twitch for a year, but the way that I was doing it, I wasn't doing sidecasts. I was just doing wrestling clips, and we were watching old wrestling videos. And
Okay.
it's so hard to grow on Twitch when you're not promoting yourself on different platforms. And it
Absolutely.
took me so long. And someone was like, just post clip on TikTok. I was like, okay, like like I'm
Fine.
like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know anything about TikTok at the time. I learned quickly because I think I tried for a month just posting clips. They generated like maybe 200 views, if
Yeah.
that. And then it was just that one clip. And I was like, oh, okay, so TikTok is where it's at. I have to put all my effort on TikTok to promote my Twitch.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So you mentioned being an engineer. What are you doing for work right now? Like you're a content creator, but also outside of that, what is it that you do?
I do a lot. So, okay. So
I
I'm a
feel
full
that in my
time
soul.
on.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like what else? What else?
Yeah.
Tell me, lay it on me.
So I have to do a lot because I am in LA and I was making the money of an engineer, and then I'm just kind of okay, well, I want to work for myself. I want to do something that makes me happy. So I buy out storages like Storage Wars and stuff like that. I buy them out and then I resell them at an outdoor market. So it's a quick turnaround. Yeah, so I do that Mondays, third no Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So I do that from 6:30 to like maybe 2 to 3,
Mhm.
and then I do content creation after 5 p.m. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays, I do audience work, like background audience work, and I do that until like 5 p.m. And then I also, well, no, I do it till like 4 after rush home, and then I do content creation and streaming at from 5 and up. And then I also have my online store, my Etsy, my online plant store, and I try to fit that in. So
What do you
I
what do you
like
sell there on Etsy?
plants. I sell
Plants.
plants on Etsy. Yeah. And I try to do that Sundays or whenever I just have free time. And it's been kind of struggle bus because it's spring and I'm getting an influx of orders, which is wonderful. It's great. But I
That's a lot, girl. You have a lot of irons on the fire. You're doing a lot. And I think,
Yeah.
you know, that's something that I notice a lot with what I do because I am the same way. I have multiple things that I'm doing. And a lot of the internet only sees, the one side of you and what you're doing when you make content a lot. They say, oh, well, she's doing this so much. That must be all that she does. And that's not quite the case. Do you ever feel that that's like a two-part thing? Like, do you feel burnt out, at any specific point? Have you been burnt out? Are you currently like that's a lot of things to do at one time. And does that affect, how you do what you do online?
I do get burnt out, but I'm so happy that I'm doing this right now because I'm in the space with you, someone who's also in their 30s, grinding, also has a lot on their plate.
Right.
So I'm more so I don't think I would be pushing content as much if you weren't in this space. So
Oh,
I
well,
want to give
thank
you
you.
your flowers. No, but it's the truth because I was just telling Nate this too. I was like, because I grind, but then it's also kind of like I have someone else in this space. So same, in their 30s. We're trying to do this wrestling content creation where we're trying to figure out what we can do in this space. And we both
Yeah.
just want to bring fun back to wrestling. We don't necessarily want to focus on just debating and having opinions all the time. We just want to enjoy pro wrestling. So you being in this space, I push myself even harder because I'm like, she is so good at what she does. She has a huge platform. And I'm like, okay, so I gotta wake up. I know I have to do this, but then I'm kind of like, what would Wheezy do? She's gonna grind.
Oh
I'm gonna
God.
grind.
Oh God. It's crazy to hear that from people. Thank you for one. Hearing that from people is so crazy because sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. That my brain is in so many different places at one time. But I like doing this. We can I've met a lot of people in this space. I've been doing this 4 years. The real nitty-gritty of it has probably been the last year and a half. And I've met a lot of people doing this and I've watched a lot of people come, I've watched a lot of people go, and I see what works and what doesn't work. And I think a big reason that I advocate for you and that I enjoy you is not only because you're a woman and you put up with all of the stuff that we put up with that I think only we truly understand, but that you don't bait. And I'm not knocking the way anybody does anything, but you genuinely just really like wrestling and you're not just one dimensional. You like all different kinds and you're not afraid to post something that maybe not a lot of people agree with or like, because if no one knows, you are a big AEW fan. And if you're in the space that we are in, posting anything AEW related, talking about AEW, even someone that comes from AEW or has some kind of ties to it, it turns into this negative shit posting, just troll infested fucking garbage can. And it does.
It
I've only
does.
streamed AEW a handful of times. You do it on the regular. Like, what is your what was your chat like? Is there times where it gets really bad and overwhelming? Is it for the most part okay? I mean, how have you managed that?
Chat gets really bad, especially this past Wednesday,
Yeah.
because of yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring too much negativity to the company, so I'm just gonna skip over that.
That's totally fine.
But
It's totally fine. I get
yeah,
it.
it gets bad, but I think because I'm very outspoken and I don't really care, like if I'm going to say something, and like some people like to call me like, "Oh, you're a child if you're gonna do mama jokes," but it's like honestly, like they're trolls and what they're saying is so childish and immature that
Yeah.
it's like I'm just gonna give them the reaction that they deserve. Why am I going to spend so much time into like trying to convince them that like pro wrestling should be enjoyed? Like if you don't get that, then be that kind of wrestling fan. Like
Yeah.
go ahead and suffer, and suffering succotash. Like enjoy that because you're missing out on great wrestling. And if you really want to just bash on an entire company, I just don't care to have you as a viewer.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. I'm the same way. I'm like, bye. I don't care. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
I don't need the view. Like that's the thing is a lot of people will allow that to exist in their chats or they'll allow people to talk to them like that because they want like they think that the view is everything or that the engagement is everything. And it's like, no, you're perpetuating a space where that's okay. and that they're going to come in and do it no matter what. And you're not going to change their mind. Maybe every once in a while you are, but those people are going to exist because we've made it such a normal thing that, oh, well, if I talk shit about this thing, that's going to get views. And so people do it. And it's just, oh, it's such a cesspool. I've just recently gotten into X Twitter because I have avoided that like the plague. And
Twitter.
oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like what kind of I know I asked you to look through your messages, and what kind of messages have you received from people? Again, bringing it back to, being a woman. Like people think it's okay to talk to you a certain way or that you're here for a specific reason. What are some of the wildest things that you've had said to you?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people like to call me annoying. I don't know if I can curse or say it.
Oh yeah, you cuss. I don't care. I
Yeah.
cuss.
Okay. Okay.
Girl,
Okay.
if you've never, I'm a fucking
I
sailor.
curse too, so
I'm
that's why.
so bad.
I know. I know. Me too. Especially when I get excited, I'm just like,
Oh
holy
God,
fuck,
all of my reaction clips, I'm like, no one's ever going to be able to use these because I cuss so much.
and then they get used, which is wonderful.
Yeah, they just block it out. Yeah, it's worked so far.
Yeah. So my messages, a lot of people say this annoying bitch. I'm a loud bitch.
Mm.
I think some guys was like, put a muzzle on your. I don't know, but that's a joke that I usually say to myself because I'm
Mhm.
just like, someone put a muzzle on me because I have a mouth of a sailor. But I did screenshot this one because I just saw it this morning too. This it and they're all from profiles that don't have a profile picture or have like two followers
Naturally.
because they're all
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
like they don't want to tell you with their actual profile. They're just gonna hide it. So somebody said, "Pussy bitch, I will beat your ass," and then another person says, "Ugly bitch, let's fight, or you're pussy like your mom. And if you block me, that makes you a big pussy like your mom, and answer me back." This was this morning.
That was just this morning?
That was
Oh
this morning.
my God.
Yeah, and then some other guy said, "I'll eat yo ass 3 different ways for 2 days straight." All right, like
I
yeah.
really sometimes wonder like who these people are and what they're currently doing. Like, do you have because I've looked before, because I've gotten certain messages before where people, are just so completely crude. And I'm very open about the fact that that's not what I'm here for. That's not what I'm here for. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm married. I'm happy. I don't need to talk about my husband 24/7 to let you know that I'm happy. But
Yeah.
there's been a couple where their literal profile picture is them with a baby. And I'm like, okay, click,
Oh, yeah.
open it up. Oh, there's a wife.
They're, yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
a girlfriend. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I think people get so caught up in, they think that we're not real people. You know, it's so easy now to, I don't want to say it's easy, it's not easy, but it's attainable for just a regular person to gain a following and to kind of get out there in any kind of like capacity or space. And they think that you're just like, oh, they'll never get a reply. They'll never see it. Like, let's just do it. No, no, I can find you and I can find your significant other and I'm gonna fucking tell them like straight up. Like, don't be trash. Like, don't be trash. I don't, it's just such a, and I feel like, I don't want to say it's getting better, but it's definitely, it's something that I think if you are a man, you do not understand because you don't have to deal with it in that kind of capacity. It,
Yes, it's and it's unfortunate how much we have to keep bringing this to light, and then it's unfortunate how many times people always say, "Well, why do you guys make it a gender thing? Why is it? Oh, we get it. You're women in this space. We get it." But it's like because we have to go through much in our DMs because not only I could be entertaining, you could be entertaining, we could be funny, we could be pro wrestling fans, but then we have the addition of not only do men just think that we're these objects on the internet that they can just tell us that we're beautiful and that they want to do this and this and this to us. And
yeah,
it's kind of like, okay, we're both in relationships. You're married. I'm in a relationship. I make it clear, but just like you, I don't. My content doesn't need to revolve around my relationship
thank
because
you.
this is my content. This is what I'm doing. It's pro
Right.
wrestling. And also, do you ask the men if they're single? Do you ask
Nope.
them constantly, are you in a
Nope.
relationship? No, you just enjoy the content. But because we're women, we get asked that. And then not only that, we get harassed and then we get told that we're fake wrestling fans. And then we have our knowledge being tested every single time we go live. It's highly annoying because it's like you go live on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. You're bound to be asked a question just for just for the sake of testing your knowledge. And it does get draining because it's like, but at this point, I feel like we're just so used to it now that it's just kind of
You get
whatever. Like,
desensitized to it. It's a little scary because I've been on a couple other podcasts and I've had the conversation so much with different people, and it always goes to, well, how do you handle it? How do you deal with it? And you just become desensitized to it after a while. It's just a thing that happens. If I were to show you, my inbox, my unread on Instagram, yep, it's just another thing. It's just something that happens and you just deal with it. There's a dude right now that everything that I post, he photoshops it and then he takes pictures of me and then he puts pictures of me with pictures of him and then tells me how much he loves me and it's
oh,
it's kind of like, okay.
that's scary. That's scary, and it's parasocial because it's like the people that get parasocial. And that's another thing. It's like we as women, like we can't respond to everything because they will get parasocial, and then they. I mean, that's a perfect example, and that's unfortunate. I'm sorry because that's scary. I
You give
don't
an
think
inch and
they
they take a
understand.
mile. Like you want
Yeah.
to be nice and sometimes you want to reply to people and you want to say thank you for this and then it turns into, okay, reply to this one thing and now they're going to message me like 10 times in a row, 5 days in a row, and want to show me every single thing or show me every single video they see, and it's like, you can't
Yeah.
do that. You can't do that. You got to remember,
Yeah.
I've got 130 something thousand people that are on my Instagram. It's just not feasible for that to be a thing. It's just not. You had mentioned the negativity of women in the space, like being accused, I guess, of, or that we're here for a specific reason. Like, okay, well, she's a woman. She doesn't, I'm going to test her knowledge. She doesn't know anything. And it made me think of Denise Saucedo. I don't know how much you saw about all of that happened. I'm not giving the motherfucker's name, but there was a
Yes.
dude, and it turned out I was surprised. I was subscribed to him, but and I didn't go looking for the video, but it popped up on my ex, and he was saying how, and he made it very clear it was a generalization, but it was towards him about how, oh well, there's so many of these women that they don't ever give real takes. They don't ever give real takes. They just watch the show and they're ha 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 and they're watching and seeing it happen. And then they get their media passes and they do this because they don't want to ruffle the feathers of a specific company. Because God forbid, you make them not like you and lose your media pass, which was the biggest piece of horseshit I've ever heard. And it pissed me off to the point where I sat down and I did record like an entire shoot video on it because it made me mad, because that's pretty much right with what I do. I watch and I enjoy and I give a little bit of takes here and there, but it's, you don't have to have a scathing take for every single thing that you do. It's totally fine to enjoy what you do. And just because I'm they are, pretty girls sitting here watching a wrestling show, like so many other people do. There are so many people that do this now. It's the women that are the problem. Uh, like, do you feel that do you think that we are more level-headed in this space, that we don't, because not a lot of us do that. We don't give skating takes. Why is there that difference between men and women in how we engage with people?
So I think it's more so just because we honestly are just enjoying
Mm-hmm.
pro wrestling, and I think you and I have similar reactions when it comes to like what's going on during a story or during a match. I think we just like kind of laugh, and we kind of talk shit to like stars because it's funny. Like we're talking shit because we're
You're
invested in
in
the
the
story.
show. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
in the
point.
show. Yeah, like Drew Yapentire. We're like, oh, we gotta hear freaking
I
Drew
shout you out
Yapentire.
all the damn time, and people are so mad at me for being upset when Drew comes out. But I'm like, oh fuck! Like, shout out MinniePortable. This motherfucker's coming out here to talk for 5 goddamn minutes. No,
Yeah,
yes, and they get so mad.
but it's funny because it's like you get mad that we don't have like strong opinions on certain things, but it's like no, but we're enjoying it. We understand the story. We're supposed to be annoyed that he's gonna come out and talk for 5 minutes. Like we're supposed to be annoyed by that. That's the
Right,
whole point of Drew
right.
McIntyre. Like and with me, I have certain heated times where I am so invested and then I do give my opinion, but those are the opinions that are coming from me. You're not going to force opinions out of me. Like, you're not going to tell me, well, what's your opinion on The Rock's cardio? Like, why? do you think that he should work out more? And I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't have an opinion of that because I honestly don't give a shit. You're talking about The Rock. You're talking
Yeah.
about one of the most
Yeah.
fit people. And I'm sure, like, I'm not going to body shame, but it's like, I don't even want to see how you look. If you are so concerned about someone's cardio, like,
It was an entire, I'm laughing so hard because it was an entire bit on my stream because I couldn't believe that that is what the internet latched onto. You've got The Rock, who is just a specimen of a human being, so absolutely fit. He is in his goddamn 50s. There are not a lot of people in their 50s outside of elite athletes that look like that. And these motherfuckers have the audacity to be like, The Rock needs to do more he's gassed. Wait till he's in a match, man. He's gassed. He's not going to make it. So we totally made it a bit. Literally, anytime anyone was breathing heavy, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
got to do more cardio, man.
Yeah.
You don't got it. You don't got it. Like,
you don't got what it takes to be a WWE superstar, man. You don't got what it takes.
how dare you? How dare you? No, and then they want you to have an opinion on anything, like literally any single thing that happens, as if that is what you were here for and that's what you should be able to do. And if you don't do it, you're afraid, or you're afraid of ruffling feathers. And it's just it should be okay to be indifferent. It's not that I'm indifferent to everything. There's certain things that I feel very strongly about, but when it doesn't have to do with the actual wrestling show, I don't have to speak on it. I don't need to care about someone's relationship or a fight that happened or how I think this person is running the company or any of that shit. You don't have to do that. It's just, I
Yeah.
can't believe that that's not more normalized. Have you ever, in doing all of this and having the criticism that you've had, have you ever considered just being done and like walking away from all of this? Or do you genuinely just love it and you don't care what anyone has to say?
I've never had that. Honestly, I've never had that. I enjoy what I do. I also know that I can more so cook anybody that you would try to say
You're really good
anything
at
about me.
it. You're
Yeah,
really good
so
at it.
and I will say all the negative comments, all like anybody that comes to my live and says something negative, like it really
Mm.
does not affect me. And I enjoy that because I can make content off of your stupidity. Like if you want to say something to me, great. I figure out a way to make content off of you and then I roast you and I cook you. But it does not affect me. There's things that do affect me, which is great. I'm just so happy because it's like, yeah, like I can be told this and this and this, but it's not going to affect me. The things that do affect me though is more so being compared because we are
Mm.
women in this space, and when people come and compare, it's kind of like we are women in this space. You
Yeah.
guys don't necessarily need to compare. All of us, we are all grinding. We both, you know, we do our content, but we do it because for the enjoyment. And like just to go back on like the opinion stuff, like sometimes I get heated and I'm like when Sammy won, like when Sammy got it instead of Chad Gable, I was highly upset, but I'm
Yeah.
not ever going to shit on Sami Zayn because it's Sami Zayn. And yes, he deserves this moment. But I was going off and I'm just like, Chad Gable should have done this, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. That's me reacting in the moment.
Yeah.
And then I had some dumbass that I had to ignore because I'm heated. Some dumbass was just like, why can't you just be more positive like Wheezy? So like
No.
someone said that in my comments as I'm heated and I read it, whatever. I ignored it. And then I started to calm down because that's what I usually do. Like I just give my opinion. And then
Yeah.
I that stayed in my head because
I get
that stayed in my head because I'm just like, bro, like shut the fuck up. Like it's like we don't have to be the same. Like we don't have to be the same.
we don't have to be the same. No. And I could say so many things about that. But and that's the thing too, is that I'm not always, I totally don't like things that happen. There are so many moments of things that go on and I'm like, okay, fine, like whatever. Um, but I get, when I was coming up and I've learned a lot from him, really good friends with Santi. I'm sure everyone fucking knows who he is, but I, I've learned so much from him and he's been so very helpful. I get compared to him, I mean, a daily basis. And I made the mistake of trying to be funny and, make a bit out of it and thought it
Mhm.
was going to be fine. And his audience, I mean, fucking came after me, just came after me. And some of them still do. I'm constantly berated with Santi's better, Santi's better, Santi's better, Santi's better. He's this, he's that. And I'm just like, okay, that's great. Like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it. Like, yeah, it's his full-time gig. He pumps out content like a machine. He
He's ridiculous because,
It's
and then
crazy.
he's also like tweeting every 30 minutes, and I'm like,
Yes,
how are you doing this podcast slash 3 videos on YouTube, and then you're tweeting out every 30 minutes?
yeah,
Like, he's insane.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I mean, of course, anyone would want to get to that point or have that level of success, but constantly being compared to them, it does. I'm the same way. It gets to me too. I literally cried on my TikTok the other night because I was running on like 2 hours of sleep. My computer was crashing. It was overheating. I couldn't get my clips done. I was trying to edit, and then I had some motherfucker that was just like, I'm going back to Santi because it's been 2 hours and you don't even have these clips up yet. And I just was like, like just crying because I'm like, I'm so tired of this. Like, and it's not his
Yeah.
fault, but when you
Yeah.
associate with certain people or you are doing a similar thing, it's gonna happen. I just don't understand why we're so like tribalistically minded. I fucking hate it. I don't understand why it's things. I'm sorry. I understand. I totally understand.
Yeah.
The other thing with that too is there was a big group, when I was coming up too, of content creators that I had met, and some of them I still associate with, some of them I don't. But I did have a moment of, I don't know who started it, I don't know who was saying it, but there was someone saying that I had my success because I slept with Santi, which was fuck you. Immediately fuck you. Because one, is it not possible for a woman to associate with other men in the space and that not happen? Like, what world do you live in where that's okay? And that's not fair to me. It's not fair to my husband. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to his girlfriend. And it's nobody's business. But we went to Las Vegas for TwitchCon.
Uh-huh.
Stayed in the same Airbnb. You know who was there and who's the coolest fucking person ever? His girlfriend, who was so fucking nice to me and took me
Yeah.
clubbing and had such a good
Oh.
time. Like, it really, that fucked me up for a minute. I was like, okay, when that happened, I was like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna not even mention him in stream anymore. When people were bringing up his name, I literally would ignore it, to the point where people were clocking it and were like, wow, she's not even like acknowledging that anymore. Why? I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, I was over it. I'm getting better
Yeah.
with it now. But this the tribalism transfers over from not only wrestling but content creators, and it's the silliest shit. They just don't have anything better to do. They just don't have anything better to do. Have you had to deal with anything from other content creators? Have you had mostly good experiences dealing with them?
So, well, I mean, of one that I'm getting annoyed of, and I'm not gonna say it, but it's just like like
Oh,
going
same, it's
going
fine.
back to
No,
going back to the sake of just like tweeting out and just hating on something so bad, and then like it's just kind of like just shut up. Like, you were putting too much energy on that. But I will piggyback off of what you said about sleeping with Santi, because I did a collab with Ross. I did it twice. I did a
yeah,
collab with Ross. It was like
love them, by
it
the
was
way, love
funny.
Ross.
Yeah, yeah, it was funny. It was just like me kind of like taking jabs, he's taking jabs. It was a collab. Like, it's
Yeah,
just a collaboration. And they keep calling me Ross's girlfriend and stuff like that. Like, I had people
yeah,
coming on my chat telling me that, saying like, "Oh, Ross's girlfriend" and stuff like that. And I'm just like, "No, I'm dating Nate, and he's also a content creator, so I can easily be like, this is my boyfriend." Like,
yeah.
he's a content creator. And then somebody on Twitter said it, and I think that was the first time that it actually truly affected me, because somebody commented saying, "Oh, that's where your girlfriend at Minnie." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
why do you guys keep saying this? I've already addressed this, because I did address it on my stream. I said stop, because that's so disrespectful to me, to Nate. That's disrespectful to, I don't know if he has a girlfriend, but if Ross has a girlfriend, it's
Yeah.
disrespectful to Ross's girlfriend. Like, stop doing this. But that one affected me, and I remember like crying like to Nate, because I was like, I can't do a collab. Like, I cannot do a
I did
collab
too. It's fine.
because, yeah, because I'm legit like, why can I just do a collab and just have it be a collab? Why do I have to be associated with them in that manner? And I'm crying. So then he sent out a tweet, and then I think it got squashed. I haven't heard it since, but it's
Mm.
just like, why can't we just do collaborations without people thinking that we're trying to sleep with somebody or stuff like that? And in my case, it's kind of worse because it's like I said a lot of sussy things because it's just my sense of humor, and
Yeah.
I had to kind of like I had to tone it down a bit because I'm like, okay, well, let me calm down because it's like I can't say certain things because I know it's gonna bite me back in my ass, even though it's my sense of freaking humor.
Yeah, but and that's the
But
thing is it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't have to be that way. You should be able to be yourself and have your sense of humor and people not be fucking weirdos. But that
yeah,
apparently is like way too much to ask. And it's all, you know what? And the thing is too, I had to remind myself that it comes from people that probably this is shitty. People that really probably don't get girlfriends, they don't get bitches, they can't get bitches, and there's a reason
they
that
don't
they
get
can't get
bitches.
bitches. So it's fine. Like, I'm sorry you don't know what it's like to, be able to have a friendship with someone, of the opposite gender, because it is a thing when you work in this space, especially being a woman in this space, because we're outnumbered heavily. You are
Yeah,
probably one of the only other women that do something similar to me that I can think of. I can maybe think as much as we do, that do it full time.
yeah,
Marissa
yeah,
is probably the only one, but she has her boyfriend with her in her streams. She has Johnny,
yeah.
who also is a streamer. So yeah, it's gonna happen. You just have to learn to deal with it, but it's not cool. I when I went to the first time I met a lot of them, it was a SmackDown in Detroit, and I stayed in one of their house. Like they had a condo, and I stayed in the condo with all of them. And the amount of comments I remember of being like, "Oh, Wheezy was there with all of them. Wheezy stayed with all of them, and there was no other guy." And I just was like, I I called my husband when I got home. My husband trusts me, and this is why you will never get any bitches, because apparently you doing something wrong if your man can't trust you doing shit.
Yeah,
Like,
but also it's like you have a husband that trusts you. I have a boyfriend that trusts me.
mm-hmm.
It never comes from your husband, and it never comes from my boyfriend. Never,
It's from
because
random
they're just
people that
like,
I've never met in
oh.
my life that don't know anything about me.
And people don't know how a relationship works. Like people just don't understand that like a relationship is built on like trust and communication. And if you have that, it's like it's fine. We're not doing anything wrong, but in your head, you're like, oh, she's collabing a little too much with this guy, you know.
I see
Oh,
this going on. That's happening right there. That's what that means. When as soon as you talk to a girl, that's what's happening, because they probably don't talk to girls. They don't get
yeah,
bitches.
they can't. Yeah,
I say that constantly, which is so,
that's hilarious.
so very, very mean of me. But I'm glad to hear that you're also in a relationship where it's a non-issue, because even getting like the comments and stuff, where people make passes or they say certain things, there's a lot of dudes out there that would not be okay with it or would be really insecure by it. So, and I think, a lot of the time that might be a big reason that a lot of women can't get into this space either, because there are so many trash men out there that aren't secure enough to allow that to be a thing. It's just, and it's the same insecure men too that are the ones that will be, in a relationship or talking to somebody, but then also blowing up the comment section of, Instagram models, or, doing all
Mhm.
those kinds of things. It's such a double-edged sword. I I'm so glad.
It,
If something ever happened to my husband, I don't think I would ever date again. Like, nope. Like, no, I don't want to be out in this
no,
dating pool right now. It's fucking
it's
terrible.
It's bad. It's bad. And I'm glad that you and I both, yeah, because not a lot of men can handle it. Because some of my DMs, like even reading these ones, like especially like the ones that they get super, like it's like, oh, I just want to like smell your farts and all this stuff, and they're like, let me eat your
Let me have
toenails
a
and
lock of your
stuff like
hair.
that. Yeah, yeah. And it's
Oh,
funny because he's right there next to me, and he's laughing. You know, he's just like these dudes are ridiculous, but like it's never like we've never had an issue with he's never been like, hey, maybe you should kind of like not post certain pictures or do certain. No, he takes them for me. He's like, yes, like
yeah.
go
I just
ahead
saw
and
one, girl.
gas
You
her
look
up.
great.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, it's just great. I'm happy for us that we have good
Oh
men in
no,
our
me too.
lives,
My
because
husband, he's
especially in this space.
Oh God, yeah. He if I'm live streaming, he the door's over there. So he will walk in and he'll stand just right here. You can't see his face, but like here's his body and like his neon shirt. and he's just looking over my shoulder here at the main screen and reading the comments, and he'll just be laughing, and they'll see him, and most of my regular audience knows him too, and so the chat will just be like, oh it's Cody, and hype him up, and I'm like, you need to go, you're stealing my thunder, like get the fuck out of here.
That's cute.
Yeah, absolutely. So crazy. um so we talked about having the bad interactions, all of the really negative things. What are some of the really positive things that has helped you as a person, or that has made you more confident in yourself? What kind of goals, what kind of have those things helped you with your goals moving forward?
Um, well, the main thing, because I wasn't trying to talk about like my issues with myself, because I have not here, like I'm not talking about here, but in
You're
general
fine.
with doing content creation, because I've I've had several concussions, so I do have like brain trauma, and then I developed the speech disorder, and I have like really bad motor tics.
Really?
So yeah, so with doing that, so some of my clips, at first in the beginning when I started doing it, I started clipping out because I do like I do this a lot, and then I'm so fidgety. You have no idea. I like this finger
I've
can't
never
like it's
noticed.
yeah, so I used to clip out when that like I would probably be saying something funny, but then I noticed that I'm like going crazy with like my body movements that I would clip it out. But
Uh-huh.
now I leave it because no one really notices that. And then I remember making a video about it because I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk about it, whatever. And a lot of people were like, I never noticed that. I
Yeah.
never noticed that.
I don't know.
Yeah, they don't. But now it's great because now it's out there and now it's just funny. Like it's funny on my stream because it's like they call me dementia portable, but it's hilarious because it's like because I got brain trauma, so sometimes I forget stuff. Like mid sentence, I'm like, and I
Yep.
forget a casual word that I'm like, wait, what is this? Like, and then I try to explain it, and then they're like, are you talking about apparently? Oh yeah, apparently. Like I'm just making that
No,
as an
yeah.
example. Yeah, but it's
I
yeah.
I think
It's
it's awesome that you've been able to have things like that happen, or things that you feel like you were trying to hide at first, and now you're able to kind of include it in your stream, because I think it's very important to still be a human to people, and that you are a human that has issues and things that you're insecure about, or things that you're not sure about, and just kind of laughing with it, because that's honestly how to survive on the internet. It's how to survive
yeah,
on the internet. Like if someone's going to laugh at you, no, I'm gonna laugh with you. Like you're
yeah,
not getting
yeah.
me. Like this is who I am. And again, I do not
Yeah,
care. Like I'm
and
not
we embrace it.
exactly. I say things funny. People make fun of the way that I talk. I have ADHD and things, so I'm all over the place all the time. I'm not the smartest. I won't pretend that I'm the smartest, and I don't have the most extensive like wrestling knowledge. But if there's something that I don't know, I'm just gonna straight tell you, no, I don't know what that is. Explain it to me. And it's just being open about that has kind of gotten past all the people that are like, oh, she's stupid, she doesn't know what she's talking about, or oh, this, she's just watching this for views. And we've kind of gotten to a place where eventually like it dissipates and it goes away. And I'm very happy that that is something that is occurring for us. And I hope that more people jump on, more women jump on to this, because I hear so many of them say, well, I'm afraid because I don't want to have the internet be mean to me, or I hate listening to myself, or I hate being on camera. And it's like, but we need more
Hey,
level headed people. We need more people in this space that can kind of combat the stupid, because I do feel like it's getting better. There are just more of us out there that are shutting it down and making it not okay. And I try to stress to other people too that by just being yourself and just being human, you get really good interaction and praise with a lot of the people that actually do professional wrestling or that work within the business. And you get opportunities and really cool things, and you don't have to tell anyone about all of them, but they happen, and it's very, very fun and cool, and there's room for everybody. And I hope you continue to grow and you stick with it, and I'm proud of you for continuing to stick with it, because I know how hard it is. Like it's so very hard. It's not just sitting down and recording and posting it. Like there's editing involved, there's a thought process involved, and it's hard to do when you are already super super busy. So do you ever have any imposter syndrome when it comes to what you do? Because you get people that are fans of you and post about you, but then you're still like myself. I go out in public and just a normal ass person going to the grocery store. Like, does this feel like just a thing you do still, or does it click that you have an audience that knows who you are?
I have severe syndrome, but that's just
Yeah,
been
me
my
too.
whole life with anything I've ever done, even with engineering. Even like it was pretty cool because I was there. So for the Mars 2020 rover, I was there when the mechanical arm was being built, and that was like my mentor. I wasn't inside the facility because you have to have a whole hazmat suit and anything and all that, and I'm not that cool to have all that. But
Yeah.
I was like, I was right there, like I was behind the glass, and I was like watching this being built, and I'm like, how am I here right now? I was like, how am I here? This is like an
Right.
amazing thing to see. But with content creation, for my birthday, I was like, the amount of people that said happy birthday on my platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and then send me messages, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I went to the show PCW Ultra, and people were like taking pictures of me and sending it to me, and I was like, oh, cool. Like I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
this is so yeah, like it's so weird and it's so cool. And then people want to take pictures with you, and you
That's a weird
see
one. Yeah.
somebody like just different faces too. Like it's like you could look like me, or you are just like this older white guy, or you're this young kid, and then you're like, oh, I know you, and I'm like, oh,
All different age ranges.
hi.
Yeah, it's insane to
Like,
put kind of a face to a viewer because yeah, their age range is insane. You don't really know what to expect, but yeah, being recognized is definitely imposter syndrome. Have you ever been to like a show where someone recognizes you, like an actual wrestling
yeah,
show? Yeah. Is
yeah.
that typically where it happens?
So Knoxborough was insane because it's like the wrestlers themselves were saying hi to me.
Yeah,
People that
that's
were there was like, I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my god, hi! Like the wrestlers themselves were giving me their shirts and their like little
oh, I
stickers and stuff
love
like that.
that. That's
I
awesome.
was like, oh my god! I was like, hi, and like it was so freaking cool. It was so freaking cool. And then speaking of wrestlers, that like it's cool that they send you messages and they're like thanks for like being positive or thanks for not totally shitting on this just like everybody else. And it's like at the end of the day, I think we're just pro wrestling fans and we're trying to enjoy, and if we have an opinion, we'll say it, but we don't got to force anything out for the sake of just engagement and for the sake
It
of
don't fly. It don't
shitting
work.
on something. Like,
It don't work. Trust me. I see it
yeah,
happening in real time. I see the ones
yeah,
that are doing it. That heyday is over, man. It's just there's enough of them. They don't want that. This is not going to work anymore. It's just not going to work anymore. Um,
it's not. Yeah, and now that we're in this space, and I think a lot more people are taking this approach because they do see us do it and we're just enjoying it. You do see those people sort of like diminish in a way,
uh-huh.
and you see that people are saying, dude, you're just negative, like you're just negative and you're being toxic and you don't always have to complain about things, and I really enjoy that.
Do you ever get the people? So, because a lot of the time I'll get a negative comment or something negative said to me that pisses me off, and I don't reply to all of them. But every once in a while, there is just one that I feel like, yeah, I've got to reply to this. It really bothers me when somebody uh, responds to that response and says, you need to just ignore them. Like, don't bring attention to this. Like,
But
you're better than that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm
yeah,
like, no. We're past the day and age where we
yeah,
just ignore the mean people because they're used to being ignored. Every once in a while, depending on what they say, I feel like someone needs to be put in their fucking
oh
place.
yeah,
Like, you're
oh
not
yeah,
going to tout
absolutely.
on my shit, like saying shit about me. No, like, I'm going to call you out for it. And it's not like when you're witty, you're so witty with them. Like you ratio the fuck out of them. I appreciate it. I feel like I'm just really good at just talking and just being mean and just fuck you. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they
yeah.
delete their comment and they go away. Like, no, that needs to happen more. More people need to be put in their place for being assholes. Stop allowing
It
people to just be
does.
assholes and exist. Like, no, call them out.
It does, but also like the comments that are like, "Oh, you should be better than this." Like, just ignore it.
Mm,
No, no,
no.
I am better than this, and this is why I'm going to destroy their dumb little comments. I'm going to ratio them, and I'm going to make them insecure. Okay, because that's what they're initially trying to do to everybody else. Like, it's not just me. They're gonna go ahead and do this to somebody else. And
Mm-hmm.
what if the other person takes it serious and takes it to heart? Where I'm just kind of like, haha, whatever. You can say whatever you want,
Like, I am
Like,
not the problem
no,
here.
yeah, yeah. But those comments actually do annoy me. I remember like telling Nate, I was like, why am I more annoyed by the comment that says, oh, just don't feed into the
I'm
trolls.
so
Why
glad
am
it's
I
not
more
just me.
annoyed by that
I'm so glad it's
than
not
the
just me.
actual comment?
No, because
Yeah,
I do too. It really irks me. It's like, no, I should be allowed to give this response. Just let me do it. Like,
yeah,
just let me
yeah.
do it.
We're content creators. We're great at
Exactly.
this.
So we've talked a lot about, our own experiences in like being a content creator, being a female content creator. I did want to ask you before we wrap up, your experience or how you're viewing the relationship of other people with women's wrestling right now. Depending on, the promotion you're watching, do you feel like the view of women's wrestling is getting better? Or do you feel like there still is this stigma of, oh, do you feel like they're more critical of women's wrestling? Because I feel like I see a lot of, oh, she needs to get better in the ring. She should be doing this. This is a bathroom match still. Like, what is your perspective on the audience's view of women's wrestling right now?
I think it's so much better. I think it's like 90% good,
Yeah.
10% bad. I think there's a lot of men campaigning for more time for the women, like especially when you have The Rock and Roman Reigns
Yeah.
taking the first hour,
Yeah.
and then they cut the women's match
For
short.
sure.
It was so refreshing for my chat to just be like, oh, they're screwing the women again,
Yeah.
and then they're just hoping that the women don't get screwed, and then they do get screwed. So it was nice because it's kind of like, I don't have to tell you guys this. You guys are telling me this. And you guys are understanding that the women did get screwed and they got screwed twice. Like it's like it's just refreshing to see that there's a lot of men out there that are just campaigning for women's wrestling and they're enjoying women's wrestling. There's those comments, oh, this is bathroom break. Oh, this women's wrestling sucks. But there's always gonna be those kind of
It'll
people.
never totally go away, but I think
Yeah,
inviting more understanding of it and pointing out like, hey, this is actually banging, like they're actually doing very, very well and they're being advocated more. No, I agree with you. It's definitely, even in the time that I've been doing this, I've seen such a shift. And I think a lot of that is just that the industry is evolving and what they're allowing women to do, allowing to be more involved in their own creative process, giving them, the time that they need. And I'm just so excited. I just love it. What is your favorite, like right now, who do you think has the strongest women's division in your opinion?
it's gotta be WWE.
Yeah,
WWE, like NXT is stacked. Like it's so stacked, and I'm
it
glad that
really
they
is
brought
right
it.
now.
Yeah, it for the women's. Like I really want them to bring a mid card title. Like I really want them to do like an intercontinental title or something for them. And
Mhm.
like I like be more so just for the sake of Shayna because she has like it's damn time for her to have her dues. And I want her to be the first mid card champion because Shayna's been putting in work.
Shayna,
Like
love
she's
me
been
some
put.
Shayna.
I
Shayna has found her way to my content. Shayna has found her.
oh
Oh my God. She pops into my Twitch chat. We went back and forth a little bit on Twitter because she's a Vikings fan, NFL. I am a Detroit Lions fan, and she seems to think that the Vikings are going to, just be great this season, even though they lost their quarterback. But having that human interaction with her, I think someone in my chat actually asked her, about Bloodsport and how she felt about it. And she actually responded and just said, that's my wheelhouse. Like I loved it. She's like, it was so much fun. I want Shayna Baszler to go to the moon. And I
yeah
absolutely agree with you about the mid card title. A couple of years ago, when that was a conversation, I had a lot of people bringing up all the time, oh, we need the mid card title because the women need more to do. And I was pretty adamant that no, let's not introduce a mid card title just to give the women more to do. Because at that time, they weren't even telling any stories with the women's division. They had like one thing happening with the main title, and that was it. It's like if you need to introduce a title in order to tell a story, then you're a shitty storyteller. Like build up that division first and make it worthy of a title, and I feel like they have knocked that out of the park right now.
yeah
And I even feel that like people are still super negative about the women's tag division and they have so many negative things to say about some of the tag teams, but I think that with what they are given, they're doing a stellar job. Women's tag team wrestling on TV is still such a new thing. Like give them time to cook, and they're still working on it. But no, I totally agree with you for sure. For sure.
I think I think it's also people just like to regurgitate old opinions. Like it's like
God,
when it comes to, like the
God.
AEW women's division, they keep coming on to my chat and they're like, "Yeah, but Tony Khan's not doing anything with the women," and I'm like, "Dude, that is such an old argument. They've
Yep.
been actually doing so many things for months." And I remember going on this live and I went on this rant, and everybody that was saying, "Well, he doesn't do anything with the women's," and I'm just like, "No, this is not 5 months ago. This is not 8 months ago. They've actually been doing a lot of things. They get a lot of segments. They do get a lot of matches, especially on Rampage and Collision. Like there's two women's matches on Collision. There's two
Yeah.
women's matches on Dynamite. It doesn't always happen, but there's always women's segments. And I'm going on this rant, and everybody that was like spamming, "Oh, he doesn't do anything," they're like, "Oh yeah, you're right, you're right." And I'm like, you guys are just using, you guys recycle opinions for the sake
Brainwashed.
of yeah, you guys just recycle opinions just for the sake of sounding smart. But how about maybe not talk about something you don't know? Like, shut up, because I'm gonna put you in your damn place, especially if you're on my stream and you're gonna tell me that. And I'm like, dude, you
Dude, I say the same thing. I'll be like, nope, that opinion, I literally say that. You regurgitated that from Twitter. That is something that you saw on Twitter and you took as fact. And now you tell everybody because it sounded good. But when you really think about it, no, you're full of shit.
yeah,
Like that didn't actually happen. I
yeah,
agree. Anytime I see AEW, I love their women's division. I love a lot of the women that they have. I wish that they could incorporate more of them. But I feel the same way about WWE. They're still
yeah,
learning. People also need to remember that the AEW product in itself is newer. They are still learning how to kind of get their grounding, but it's super entertaining. It's super entertaining. They have a stacked women's division, and I've learned way more about women's wrestlers that I didn't even know existed before. Like they're way better at bringing in people that I've never heard of versus WWE brings in someone that I already know. So
yeah.
no, I totally agree with you. All right, Minnie, we're coming up on the hour mark. So I will let you go. Thank you for sitting down and talking with me. Where can everybody find you? Where are your socials? Where do you want to plug? It's your moment.
Alrighty, this is my moment. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. It is MinniePortable. On TikTok, it is Minnie.portable because my old one got banned off of stupid shit. So yeah, Minnie.portable on TikTok, MinniePortable everywhere else, and on Twitch.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Everybody go follow Minnie. Be nice, be good people, make good choices. We'll see you next time.